Welcome, guys. I hope you're all doing really well. Um, Let me just check one thing. Yeah, everything seems to be all good. Sorry, there was just a bit of light on the screen. I wasn't sure if it was working or not. But yeah, how are you all doing? Hey, Luke. Hey, Fly Kamikaze. Afternoon here on the Gulf. Ah, nice. Well, thanks. Board code cigarettes. Nice. And here in New Zealand, it's raining. So if it starts raining heavily, you may hear it on the roof. But hopefully, fingers crossed, that won't be a problem. So, yeah, last turn was a bit of a change of fortunes for the Union. I'm trying to just remember what happened. We had General Ewell. Don't know what's going on there. Yeah, we had General Ewell march from Manassas Gap to Front Royal, and the Union forces withdrew across the bridge. So he's occupied the town, and they're just kind of as a blocking force now. Over on the western side, we had the Union forces withdraw up, and they sort of outpaced General Johnson. In the center, we had the reinforcing detachment for the Confederates who were marching over to join up with Johnson. And then we had Jackson holding at Harrisonburg. And for the Union, their detachment was marching towards Harper's Ferry. As I said, they are just blocking the river crossing, withdrew up to Franklin, and is now holding Newmarket after a successful victory for the Union. So yeah, it's quite an interesting turn after several turns of everything going the Confederates' way. We had a slight change, especially in the center. So yeah, definitely interesting. Whiskey would have to be more historically appropriate. Yeah, agreed. So what is happening this turn? So let's first roll off to see who's going to get the initiative. So again, I've removed the blue dice because that always seems to go against the Union. And so we've got red for Confederates and the white one for the Union. And the Union, with a 6, have got the initiative this turn. Even if we add the +1 for Jackson, that only gets them to 4. So Union initiative. Cool. Next up, we've got the weather forecast. Yeah, the weather forecast. So we are now, date-wise, April 27th to May the 3rd. So we will roll on the May column, I think, seeing as most of it's going to be in... actually, no. We'll roll the April because most of the week is going to be April. Cool. So we have got a 97. 97 is clear skies. Finally, the weather is clearing up and the rain has passed us by. So clear skies. Cool. That'll be good. Although, because of the fact that we've had rain for the previous 4-5 turns, it's going to take a turn before the roads harden up. So it's still going to be a negative for movement within any battles, I think, that happen this turn. Evening, David. Glad to have you with us. I blame the dice. Yeah, I know. Bring back the blue dice. Yeah, glad you guys are doing well. Historical events. What happened historically, and is it actually relevant to us in this game? That's the question. So we've got May the 10th. Nope, nothing this turn anyway from the sort of historical situation. However, what we did discuss last time was due to the fact that everything had moved faster in this game, that the Union were going to dispatch their 2 sort of reserve divisions. One was General McDowell's, and the other one was coming across from Washington. And so we said this turn we were going to roll and see if they arrived. And if they don't arrive this turn, they'll automatically next. So let's just roll 2 dice, and we need a 5 for them to arrive this turn. And so neither of them are going to arrive this turn. Okay, so we'll put that as our event. No reinforcements for the Union this turn. Cool, but that doesn't mean on the upside we can plan ahead for next turn because we will be getting 2 divisions arriving. And we'll also have to have a think at the end of this video where we are going to want those. Actually, we can do it next week, where we're going to want them to arrive. Hagerstown, Manassas Gap, or wherever. So that's something to have a think about. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, as per the way I've written it, they would arrive at Manassas Gap. It just depends if Yule is there. We'd have to just immediately have a battle. So we'll consider that, I think, next week when they come through. Unless you guys as strategic commanders wish to dispatch them further north. That's entirely up to you. Now we've got our random events. So for the Union, let's roll off. And we got a 12. And 12 is wear and tear. Choose a cavalry unit, and they take D6 cohesion loss. Ooh, that's not good. 12. It can't all go the Union's way. 12. Wear and tear. And let's just roll our dice. Oh, they only take 1, so it's not too bad. -1 cohesion. I guess that's stragglers, that's saddles breaking, that's all that sort of stuff. To the gap. Yep, I think that's probably the best route for McDowell. But yeah. Next up, we've got our Confederates. And what have they got? They've got a 12 as well. A weighted dice. And 12 for the Confederates is great logistics. Gain 1 extra supply point this turn. Oh, that's good. So great logistics +1 supply point this turn. Cool. That'll help because especially Jackson in the middle, his army did get mauled, so a little bit of extra help for them might not go amiss. Next up, we've got the detachments. Sorry, I will be with you in a second. Just got to let the dog out. Cool. So sorry about that. Detachments. So what have we had so far this game? I think I'll have to just revise. Should have done this in advance, so my apologies. Okay, so turn 1, what did we have? Turn 1, we had cavalry for Union and Confederates had artillery. I should be tallying it probably in the rulebook would be a better option, but never mind. Where's my page? Oh, there it is. So let's write it down there. So Cav 1, and that's Union and Confederates had artillery on turn 1. On turn 2, we had Union had artillery and Confederates had infantry. Art and infantry. Turn 3, the Union had infantry and the Confederates had artillery. Infantry and artillery. Turn 4 was cavalry and infantry. Oh no, it was just cavalry for the Union because the Union won. So the Union went to Fredericksburg and the Confederates had cavalry. So cav and infantry again. And then last turn we had infantry for the Confederates and infantry for the Union. So infantry and infantry. So that means we've had 2 infantry for the Confederates, so they've got 1 extra. We've had 2 artillery for them, so they've got 1 extra, and they've had 1 cavalry, so they've got 2 extra of those. And the Union have 2 spare cavalry and 1 extra artillery. Is that right? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so they've got no more infantry. They've got 2 extra artillery and 2 extra cavalry. So okay, that gives us an idea. 1, 2. So they've actually only got 1 extra infantry. Sorry, I'm just doing some sums in my head. And they've had 2 of those. So they've got, there we go. And okay, so for detachments, now I've got it clear. The Union still have 2 cavalry detachments and 2 artillery detachments to choose from, but until next turn, there's no more infantry available until those big core divisions arrive. And for the Confederates, they've got 1 artillery left 1 infantry left, and 2 artillery left. So, sorry, 2 cavalry left, 1 infantry, and 1 artillery. Hopefully that's clear. Will needs. I know I do. It's too much to jumble through. But we're there. Okay, so Confederates, just so that we're all clear, and the Union. There we go. Let's scribble like that. So the cavalry for the Union, they still got 2 detachments, and artillery for the Union, they've still got 2. For the Confederates, they've got 1 artillery, 1 infantry, and 2 cavalry. Okay, I think I'm clear. I think I understand what's going on. Cool. So, yeah, over to you guys. What do you want for the Union, and what do you want for the Confederates, and where do you want them to go? Go and lie down. Morty, go and lie down. From my perspective, I would say at this stage, probably for the Confederates, they should definitely come in at Staunton, and possibly, I'd say either infantry or artillery would be the most logical things for them, just to boost their numbers a bit more. For the Union, Morty, go away, go away. Go on, go and lie down. Morty, go and lie down. Go on. Go on. There we go. We got a 5th columnist here trying to sabotage the campaign. And for the Union, I would say we can't bring detachments on anymore at Manassas Gap because of the fact that it's being hit. So it's no longer a supply depot. It's just a pass, just a town. So either Hagerstown or Cumberland, probably again Hagerstown. The staff officer has arrived. I know. Yeah. He tries his best. And for the Union, I would say possibly cavalry be the most useful because they just get a bit of extra movement. But yeah, bring the reinforcements at Hagerstown. Yep. Agreed. And what do you want? Do you want cavalry or do you want artillery? And Luke, as for the Confederates and anyone else who's playing as Confederates, where do you want them to arrive and what do you want them to be? Okay, and that we did that, so that'll be reinforcement next time. Okay. All right. I'm not sure if you guys are tired. Choose artillery for the Federals, but any other thoughts? Yeah, I would go with either. At the end of the day, they're kind of on a defensive footing at the moment, so artillery to bolster their defenses wouldn't go amiss. Artillery at Hagerstown. Okay, that's 2 of you who've said artillery for the Union, so they can have artillery. Artillery at Hagerstown. And Luke, infantry, Staunton to Jackson. Yep, I agree. So infantry, Staunton to Jackson. Okay, and then with the excuse me, with the artillery from Hagerstown, are they going to march down towards Harper's Ferry, or are they going to cross over and head down the central route? At the moment, we've got those chaps who I think they were infantry last turn marching down in this direction. They're currently at Sharpsburg. So I would say that's probably the best route to go. And then we can try and fortify Harper's Ferry, but I will leave that to you. As for the Confederates, we've got artillery there. And I'll have to refer to what everyone voted for as far as movement is concerned, as to what's happening with the detachment from last turn. Because last turn they were ordered to go and join Johnson, but then in our orders, one of them was to send him up towards Jackson. So artillery follow the others. Yep, I'm quite happy with that. Let's have a look. What was the situation? Okay, community, where are you? There we go. So what is our overall scores? Oh, interesting. Okay, so for the Union, who've got initiative, so we can just look at that first, we have got a draw on the voting. So we've got 33% voted for option 2 and 33% voted for option 4. So interesting. What were they? Let's have a look. Option 2 was a general withdrawal north for all forces heading towards Moorfield, Strasbourg, and Winchester to get into defensive positions while we await reinforcements to bolster our numbers. And our troops in the north carry on their advance to Harper's Ferry. And option 4 was General Shields march northeast to try and trap General Ewell at Front Royal. His attack is supported by the troops currently holding the river crossing, which is these guys. So here's the plan for him to come up and then cross over and try and catch General Ewell. And the Western forces continue to withdraw. And again, the reinforcements carry on down to Harper's Ferry. So that's a bit of a conundrum. So option 2, yeah, I was going to say I'll put it to you guys to say which one you want. So we've got another one for option 2 and option 2. Okay, seeing as you're here, we'll go option 2. So based off of our map, that was this force marching back towards Moorfield. That was Shields marching towards Strasbourg. And it was this group heading towards Winchester. Okay, that's good. So we'll just go option 2 for them. So they're going to get the initiative, which gives them 1 bound first before the Confederates get to move. That gets them to there. That gets him to there. And that gets him to there. Then we've got the Confederates. And their options with 44%. So that's quite overwhelming. Option number 3. And that was to see General Ewell attempt a forced march to trap and attack Shield. So he was going to be marching down and Jackson was going to come across. So now it's going to be 1 for 1. And so he's going to go to there. He'll get to there. He'll get to there. Jackson will get to there. And what do we say about Johnson? That was the question. Now he's pursuing. So he's going to get to there. He'll then get to there. Okay. So that's kind of our position, and then they are on the main road, so they gain an extra 1. Jackson's orders were just to go as far as Newmarket, General Ewell, and we'll see if he gets a forced march in a second. He will force march, but whether he suffers any cohesion loss as he comes across. That's good. We've got these guys marching up towards Jackson, so they'll get to there. And the old detachment, what was happening with them? Current reserves rerouted to support Jackson, so they are marching up to there as well. Okay. And Johnson would get to there, and they would get to there. There we go. Plus he's there, and they would get to there just because they're artillery. Interesting. Okay, that changes things a bit. So no battles this turn, which would be quite interesting. Hope Ewell has deserters. Yeah, let me roll now to find out what happens for General Ewell. Where is it? Force marches, Confederate armies. Roll a d10. That's d10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, and on a 1 to 2, we'll fail the force march. Okay, let's roll. Okay, so he's rolled a 3. D4 cohesion loss on 3 to 6. Okay, so he does lose some cohesion, and D4, which I don't have. Let me use the app on my phone. What do I have a D4 in there? Hey, I do. Okay, let's see how much they lose. 1. Okay, he loses 1 cohesion loss. Okay, that's not too bad. So he's lost 1, and the Union cavalry have lost 1. So overall, nothing too terrible there. Looks like there will be a major battle at either Winchester or along. Yeah. Okay, that's quite interesting. Okay, so yeah, the first turn when we don't have any battles. Well disciplined lads. Of course they are. Yeah. We only had them at Gettysburg, and he forced them to take those hills. Union should concentrate on Winchester. Yeah, I think that's the key, isn't it? Just to defend, bring up the reinforcements, and then have that big army group to go on the offensive again. Okay. It's very interesting. So I think that's pretty well it. I mean, I'm tempted to do another turn, but because we haven't done any of the maps and haven't put it to the poll, we can't really do that, unfortunately. Yeah, and wait for McNeil's boys to come from the east. Yeah, I think, yeah, strategically, I think you guys are correct. Looks like next turn we're going to have McDowell heading in from Manassas Gap, and then he can either head down and try and cut them off, depending on what the Confederates do, or swing up and join them. We've got these units marching down anyway. We'll gain the extra reinforcements from Washington, so they'll arrive somewhere over here. And yeah, we're going to have quite a good force building up in the center there. As for Confederates, that's going to be the interesting question, because we've got these two who are going to be marching up. So next turn, is it going to be really a turn of not necessarily advancing, but awaiting these to join these two groups? So then we've got two good-sized forces. Do we then send them up one road just to try and catch them and destroy the Union? Do we send them around and split them back the way they were? Yeah, it's going to be quite interesting. On that side, yeah, they're just going to keep... Well, again, it depends. Do the Union troops hold at Moorfield, or do they withdraw further? Because I mean, they could now start to come across the center. They could pull up north to Cumberland. We got good positions. You're still hearing us yell in the cave. Yeah. And Lincoln, so you wait for the McDowell boys to come from the east. Lincoln to call for Grant and Sherman. Strategically, the Union is already handing troops to help McClellan. Is out of the window, so combine, keep Jackson in the valley. Yep. Does anyone know why those balloons at me, or was that one of you? Because that was quite weird. But yeah, I agree. I would say from a strategic level, I agree with you there. The Union would be now panicking a bit about what's going on here. So yeah, you're right. There's no chance they'd be sending more troops over to McClellan. I think he had, what, 120,000 men in the valley anyway, so that's plenty. But yeah, I think that's pretty well us for now, unless you've got any extra thoughts. Spy balloons. Yeah, it's the Union. Yeah, I haven't actually used balloons. That'd be quite an interesting thing. I don't know quite. I guess you could put that as a random event or something like that, and give the Union their balloons, and then that would give them either initiative or a free move or something along those lines. That'd be quite interesting. Jackson should take a twilight recce in front of some. Yeah. No, we need Jackson at the moment. Yeah. I mean, he did almost die actually in that first game. He got reduced down to just 1. Now he's back up, I think, to level 5. I have to double check that he's either level 5 or level 6 now. So he's kind of back to where he started. But it's definitely had an effect, because him having suffered those wounds meant that in, I can't remember if it was the last game or it must have been the one before, when they had the chance to pursue, they weren't able to. So they actually lost out on that. So this has been a tight campaign. Oh, no worries. Thanks very much to all of you guys for actually joining in and sharing in it. And this has been an enjoyable one, because it just keeps going backwards and forwards. Every time you kind of think, oh, the Confederates are winning, then the Union just pulls something out of the bag and stabilize the situation. So yeah, definitely interesting one. They were used at Seven Pines US Balloon Corps. Yeah, I'm having a blast. Yeah, that's good. I'm glad you're all enjoying it, because I definitely am. And I think my dog is too. Trying to get involved. But yeah, with that, I think that's pretty well this turn over. So yeah, have a think about what you want the next turns to be, and the next options to be, and then we can get those up ASAP and get them ready for next week. On the upside, I guess this weekend gives me a chance to do a battle report, which isn't going to be American Civil War. I have been painting up some troops for what's the game called? World War II. not chain of command. I can't remember. Crossfire. So I might be able to have a blast doing that. So who knows? But yeah, once again, thank you all very much for your time today, and I will see you next week. Intrepid. Oh, cool. So they were used. Were they the Seven Pines? Was that the ones that you shared on the Facebook page? Oh, sorry, yeah, for World War II. They are actually. I'll grab some. I just 3D printed them and then scaled them, so they're kind of a weird scale. They are. I'm sure we can really see them. So that's the 88. Let me just close the curtains. They were originally 6mm, and then I scaled them up slightly. So they are about somewhere between 8 and 10 now. I'm not sure if you can really see the gun there. But yeah, that's an 88. And then we've got the infantry themselves. So yeah, they're a little bit bigger than 6mm, but not hugely. So yeah, I basically printed out enough to do an entire company for the British, an entire company for the Germans, and then a few extra guns and bits and pieces. Ah, that was Gainesmill. Seven Pines was earlier. Ah, cool. Ah, cool. But yeah, I was surprised. I mean, for very, very small minis, they've actually got a heck of a lot of detail on them. The only thing was for the Germans, I'm not entirely sure why, but for one of the prints, it kind of stopped just at their head height. So half of their cut flat. So I had to go in with a bit of gel glue and just make some little domes over the top of their helmets. Manufacturer, they are. I'm actually going to do a video and then I can post the I think it's a designer. I'm pretty sure he is. Can't remember off the top of my head. He's only got about 7 things. He's got British, he's got Germans, he's got Japanese, Russians, and Americans. And that's for infantry. He's got a few little bits of scenery, but that's about it. So I'm pretty sure he's just a designer. Yeah, I love 6mm. I think it's just so good. Although I do like, if you're doing skirmish game, it being a bit bigger. Like 28s is fine. But for actual battlefield games, yeah, it's got to be the small scales. Yeah, I'll try and get that video out. I've just finished painting the British ones earlier this week. So I'll paint up the Germans today. And then hopefully I can get that video done either today, tomorrow, sometime over the weekend. And then get that out next week. And then I've got a few more of the Romans and barbarians to paint up as well. So we'll get some more videos for them quite soon as well. But yeah, looking forward to it all. But yeah, thank you very much, guys. And yeah, I hope that you enjoy your weekends and enjoy the rest of the vodka, Luke. All right. I'll catch you guys later. See ya.